More than 150,000 Ivoirians have crossed the border into Liberia due to political crisis and violence in Cote d'Ivoire. They arrive exhausted, hungry, and sometimes traumatized from war. Where they choose to stay presents a unique challenge for humanitarian organizations. Only a small fraction have moved into camps where it's easiest to help them. Most are choosing to stay in the bush or remote villages, making it difficult to give them life-saving services or information. On top of that, it's the start of rainy season in Liberia, one of the wettest countries in the world. 6 months of torrential rains will wipe out roads and cut off access to border villages. Already, delivering food and medicine is a logistical nightmare. On this day, the World Food Program has run out of dry rations. With so many challenges, the sharing of information has been problematic and largely unorganized. Often in emergencies, information is not a priority.
I'm close to information because I run away. I don't have a radio. I don't have no network for me to call.
Edwin K. has a mobile phone, but there's no cellular network here. Refugees must walk 2 hours to get coverage. On this day, K stumbles across the International Committee of the Red Cross giving out free calls to family members using an expensive satellite phone. He didn't know about the service until now.
You see, the problem is the communication. Some NGO coming, they giving free calling. And I say, I don't know.
In April 2011, an Internews team in eastern Liberia assessed Ivoirian refugees' abilities to access accurate and timely information about their refugee status and aid services and where they can receive news from home. The assessment revealed that very few refugees have access to cell phones, and if they do, they can't afford phone credit or have trouble charging their phone. In particular, women have less access to information than men.
She didn't get radio, she didn't get nothing. She didn't get radio, she didn't get nothing.
Of those interviewed, more than 90% of women said radio is the best way to reach them with information in French or their local dialect. Yet, only 8% of them have access to a functioning radio. And an overwhelming majority of refugees, 66% of men and 85% of women, say they want to hear more information about the situation in Cote d'Ivoire and contact with family. At Old Loguatuo town, a small village right next to the border, this mother of 9 has found shelter in Frederick Wanlia's house. The Liberian man has a radio, but must fiddle with the battery to get it to work. Even then, there is very little programming for her to listen to. Most of the community radio stations broadcast information in English, and Cote Bernadette only understands French and her local dialect, Yakoba. The radio doesn't give me any information, she complains. She wants to hear news from home, or information on food distribution or education for her children.
Fully aware that most of your food has been shared with the refugees.
At Radio Karn, Voice of Peace, the announcers admit they only broadcast 2 programs a week in French or the local dialect. Most of their news is in English. The Internews team visited several community radio stations in Liberia and discovered there's very little programming targeted to refugees. Here, Samatolda reads a message from the United Nations Refugee Agency and the Liberian government in a language the refugees can understand. Community radio should be an important lifeline for refugees, he says.
They need more information now because they really need more information about what is going on in their country and also what is happening around them so that they will feel secure.
To feel secure, to make informed decisions, and to get the assistance they need. For the most vulnerable, such as these 2 children who were separated from their parents in the fighting, it could be what saves their lives. For those scattered out in the remote villages, soon to be inaccessible during the rainy season, getting that information will become even more difficult and more important to their physical security and well-being.